Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful Superduos and crystal bracelets. Now, I realize that some of you might not have large amounts of crystals or Superduos, so I'm going to leave you two links to my favorite places that I like to buy crystals from in bulk and also Superduos in bulk. Now, the place that I get my crystals from, you don't have to buy them in bulk. You can also buy them in smaller amounts. And I think that the bead count starts at 36 beads all the way up to 1,000 and something beads that you can buy them, but it also depends on the size of the bead. The smaller the beads, the more you can buy. The bigger the beads, the less you can buy. So it's a pretty awesome website. They actually sell in 3 different places. They sell on eBay, Amazon, and they have their own website. So I will leave a link to them in the description bar below this video, and that website again that I'm talking about is for my crystals. And the second place I'm talking about is my Superduos, and I actually buy them on Amazon, and you can get 100-gram packs from them. And instead of buying one color of 100 grams, you can buy mixed colors packages from them. So this bracelet here, the Superduos that I bought to make this, is a mixed package, and the color combination was called Dark Neons Mix. So all the Superduos in this bracelet are for one of those packages, and I still have a lot of Superduos left over if I wanted to make another bracelet for a friend or something. So I will leave both links for my crystals and the Superduos in the description bar down there below this video, so check that out if you're interested in buying large amounts of crystals or Superduos. And the crystals here in all my bracelets are actually Czech crystals, and they are pretty good quality. I'm really happy with them, and the price for them is very fair. Depending on the colors you get, it starts at like, for 4mm, the colors start at $15 up to like $23, but that depends on the color you want. And that is 724mm crystals in a package. And the larger the crystal, the 6mm ones, those have a smaller count of beads in them. So you'll have to check that out. And again, I'm going to leave the links for those 2 websites that I'm talking about down there in the description bar below this video, so check that out. Before I tell you the list of materials that you're going to need to make these bracelets, I need to explain to you something that I had a problem with, because you might have the same problem. Now, when I was designing these bracelets, I noticed that the neon Superduos that I have in this bracelet are just a little bit thicker than all of my other Superduos that I have. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just the neon color line. Maybe those are just slightly bigger. But anyways, it did affect the amount of beads that I need for my bracelets. So all my bracelets here are 8-inch bracelets. Now I have 16 Superduos in each diamond in all of these bracelets. Now this bracelet here, because these Superduos were just a little bit thicker, I didn't have to use as many beads in this bracelet as I had to in these two. So in this bracelet I have 11 Superduo diamonds that I made, and in this bracelet I have 12 Superduo diamonds. So because these were just a little bit thicker, I didn't have to use as many. And it's not the clasp that's changing the amount that I need, because when I sit it right beside each other, you could see that just this section here, right here, it pretty much looks like the same size bracelet, but this one has one less diamond and this one has one more. So I thought that was strange that these Superduos are thicker. I kind of want to say that maybe it's just the neon line that they're making this, just those beads are thicker. But anyways, that's something I wanted to tell you about, and it's kind of going to be an issue if you have the same problem, because it makes it hard to tell you the exact amount of beads that you'll need for a 7.5 to an 8-inch bracelet. So you're going to have to get your ruler out and really pay attention to your bracelet, and as you're making it, measure it to see what size you're getting and how many beads you're going to need for the bracelet. But I kind of got it figured out how many beads you're going to need for the bracelet. So now I'm going to give you the list of materials. So here is the list of materials, and I'm going to tell you, this is probably going to be really confusing to you, and if you have any problems with this, I'm going to have all the material is down there in the description bar below this video, so look down there and you'll see it all in writing, and when you see it in writing, it's going to make a lot more sense than this section of the video probably is. So for your material list, you will need 8 feet of 8-pound fireline. I like to use the 8-pound for this bracelet because it is stronger than the 6-pound, and it works just fine with all my beads. I didn't have trouble with the thickness or anything. You're also going to need 2 size 10 beading needles, a cup button or a clasp of your choice. So you don't have to use cup buttons. And this one here I did a lobster claw clasp, and if you wanted you could do a toggle. Now some toggles are very large, so if you have a very large toggle that you're going to use with this bracelet, you won't have to use as many beads. So that toggle, the big one, will take away some of your beads. So that's kind of nice that you won't have to use as many beads if you have a very large toggle that you want to use for this bracelet. Now you're also going to need 11-0 seed beads, and I actually did 3 different name brands. These here are miyuki, and I use miyuki in this one. They are 11-0 seed beads, and this one here is preciosa or Nella 11-0 seed beads, and this one here is a different name brand Czech seed bead. I can't remember what it is, but both of these are Czech, and this one is miyuki. Now a lot of people give Czech a hard time, but I love my Czech seed beads. I use them a lot, and you just gotta make sure when you buy them that they're kind of round the Rocal kind. So anyways, I'm using 11-0 seed beads, and again, you can use different name brands. Now for the 4mm crystals, this is where it starts getting confusing. You're going to need 90 to 110 4mm crystals, and again, this is for a 7.5-ish to an 8 and 8.25 inch bracelet. Because these are thicker and these are thinner, it kind of makes it a little confusing. So again, you'll need 90 to 110 4mm bicone crystals. Now let's say you don't have 90 to 110 of the same color 4mm crystals like I have here in this bracelet. These are all clear AB. But maybe you have a bunch of other colors, but you have small amounts of them. So in this bracelet here, what I did is I broke those numbers down into 3 different colors, so I didn't have to use as many as the same color. So in this video, the bracelet I'm going to be making is going to look more like this one with how I have my color pattern here. So if you want to do that, if you want to do 3 different colors, if you look here, see all the blue bicone crystals that I have? I have 18 for a, I have to look at my notes here. I have 18 of them for a 7.5 inch bracelet, and for a 8-inch bracelet I have 22 of them. So this is an 8-inch bracelet, so these blue bicone crystals, I actually have 22 of those blue bicone crystals in this bracelet because it's 8-inch. But if you want a 7.5 inch, you will use 18 of them. Now, for this bracelet, my blue ones in this one are actually going to be this champagne color here. Now, for the other crystals, which are these 2 here, for a 7.5 inch bracelet, you will need 36 of one color and 36 of another color. So this is my cyan and this is my tourmaline. So in this bracelet here, my other 2 colors will be the green and the purple ones here on the edge, and the count for those 2 different colors are the same, 36 and 36, and again that's for a 7.5 inch bracelet. Now for an 8-inch bracelet like these here, I have 44 of one color and 44 of another color. Now for my Superduos, each diamond that I make has 16 Superduos and 1 diamond. So I found that you will need 160 to 192 Superduos. Now we could break this number down because I don't like to do all the same color in my Superduos. I like to have a nice pattern going on. So if you want, for a 7.5 inch bracelet, you can cut the 160 in half. So for this one here, I have 80 of my matte iris blue, and I have 80 of my green Picasso Superduos. Okay, so I split that number in half, and this is for a 7.5 inch bracelet. Now for an 8-inch bracelet, you will need to split the number 192 in half, and you'll have 96 of one color in Superduos and 96 of your other color in Superduos. Now, let's say you want to do a pattern like this with 4 different color Superduos. You're going to split for a 7.5 inch bracelet. You're going to split 160 Superduos into 4. So you'll have 4 different colors, but you'll have 40 of each color. So I have 40 of this creamy color here, I have 40 of this blue color, I have 40 of this pink, and I have 40 of this purple color. And again, this is for a 7.5-inch bracelet. Now let's say you want an 8-inch bracelet. You're going to have the 4 different colors, but you're going to have 48 of each color. Now, I think I just told you everything you need, and I know this sounds very confusing, but I actually think I did pretty good explaining this. But if you still have any trouble with this, you can rewind the video, watch it again, or you can look down there in the description bar and see everything you need in writing. And don't forget, I will also have links to where I buy my Superduos and my crystals at, so check that out. Just check out the description box down there below the video. Click on the bar that says more, and you'll see everything you need. I went ahead and I threaded my needles, and I made sure that my tail was the same length on each side so I don't run out of thread at the end of my bracelet. Now, if you want to do a regular clasp, how you're going to do it is you're going to take one of your needles and pick up 5 11/0 beads, okay? And also half of your clasp, so that would be this here, if you're using split rings. Now, after you do that, after you have your 5 seed beads and half of your clasp, you're going to pick up a Superduo, and you're going to pass a needle through one side and your other needle through the other side, okay? And then you're going to pick up the rest of your Superduos for your Superduo diamond. Now for the button, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my needles, and I'm going to pick up 3 11/0 seed beads, and then my button. And I'm going to take a needle, and I'm going to pass it through this side. I'm going to take my other needle, and I'm going to pass it through the other side of my button. So it looks like this, okay? Now I'm going to put my needles together so they are even, and I'm going to bring this button all the way down to the center of my thread. Okay, so now we have what looks like this. Okay, make sure it's in the center. Now what I'm going to do is pick up 5 11/0 seed beads on each needle. 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 on each needle, and then I'm going to slide those down, and then I'm going to pick up a Superduo and pass through that. So I have the red Picasso here. I have one needle on this side, and I'm going to have another needle on this side. Okay. Now, I kind of found a faster way to pick up the Superduos, because you could do it one needle at a time, but it's very time consuming. So the pattern I'm going to be doing with my Superduos is this pattern here. Okay, so I have my first Superduo on, and the next thing I'm going to do is pick up 2 Superduos, and I'm going to put one on each needle. So I have this, and then I'm going to pick up my center color, which is the turquoise Superduo, and I'm going to slide this one onto both needles. So it looks like this, okay? Now I'm going to pick up 2 more that are turquoise, and I'm going to slide one onto each needle. So we have this. Now I'm going to pick up another one, and I'm going to slide this one onto both of my needles. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to do 2 red Picassos again, one on each needle. And then I'm going to pick up another one, and I'm going to put this one on both needles. Okay, so now I have the center of my diamond, which is right here, okay? We're making the center of the bracelet. So this is one diamond that's complete, and it looks correct, okay? So now that I'm done with that, I'm going to make sure that my needles are even, and I'm going to slide this diamond all the way down to my clasp. Okay, so now this is what we have. Okay, now I'm going to make the next diamond, and my next one is going to be blue on the outer edge and then red in the center. But before I start picking up my Superduos, I have to pick up 2 seed beads on each needle. Okay, 2 on each needle, and slide them down. So right here in between, you can see that I have 2 seed beads. Now I'm going to pick up my next color of my Superduo. So I'm going to pick up one Superduo, put my needles together, and I'm going to put this one on both of my needles, just like this. Then I'm going to pick up 2 more Superduos, same color, and I'm going to put 1 on each needle, just like that. Then I'm going to do a red Picasso, and I'm going to slide this one onto both of my needles. Okay, like that. Then 2 more red Picassos, 1 on each side. Okay, another one red, and this one goes on both needles, just like that. Now I'm going to do my turquoise, 1 on each side. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up 1 and slide it onto both needles. Slide it down, and this is what I look like. It looks like. Okay, now I'm going to slide this down, make sure my needles are the same length. Bring this all the way down to my button and the rest of my bracelet right here. Okay, so this is what I have. This is my pattern. The next thing I have to do is pick up 2 11/0 seed beads on each needle, slide these down, and now I'm ready to do my next diamond. Put my needles together. My next one is going to be red on the outside and then the turquoise in the middle. So I'm alternating the colors. So I'm picking up 1 red and I'm putting this onto both needles. Slide that down. Then I'm going to do 2 reds, and I want 1 on each needle. Oops, that one caught my other needle. Okay. Then I'm going to pick up my inside color, which is my turquoise here, and this one's going to go on both needles like that. Then I'm going to pick up 2 again, and I want 1 on each needle. Okay. This is what I have so far. Now I'm going to pick up another green turquoise and put that one on both needles, and then I'm going to go back to my red, and I need 1 on each needle, just like that. And then I'm going to pick up 1 more red, and this is what I have. Okay, so there's another diamond. Make sure my needles are even, and I'm going to slide this diamond all the way down to the rest of my bracelet. Okay, so this is what I have. I now have 3 diamonds. Okay, I'm going to do this again just to make sure you have it. After I add my last diamond, I have to pick up 2 seed beads on each needle. I have to do this every time. Do not forget those 2 seed beads. Okay, slide those down, put my needles together. My next color is going to be turquoise on the outside and red in the middle. So I'm going to pick up 1 turquoise, put my needles together here, like this, slide this 1 turquoise onto both of my needles, then pick up 2 turquoise and put 1 on each needle. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to do a red Picasso, 1 on both needles. Now 2 more red Picassos, 1 on each needle, 1 red Picasso on both needles, just like that. Now I'm going to go back to my turquoise, 1 on each needle, and then I'm going to pick up another turquoise and put this onto both. Okay, so there we go. We have another diamond finished. So we're just going to be repeating these same steps over and over, and you want to have your 2 seed beads between each diamond. And I'm just going to go ahead and slide this down and show you a close-up of what we've already done. Okay, so this is what we have right now, and you just want to keep repeating these same steps until you'll have maybe 10 diamonds, 11 diamonds, 12 diamonds, whatever size you need for your bracelet. And remember, your clasp might change the length of your bracelet if you have a really large clasp, so you have to pay attention to that. So keep going, repeating these steps over and over until you get to the other side of your bracelet, and I'll show you what to do next. So I kept on going until I got to the other side of my bracelet over here, and now what I have to do is make the loop for my button to go through. And I like to make my loop the perfect size, because if I make the loop too big, the button could just fall right through the loop. So I like it just a little snug, just a tiny little bit snug, so it fits onto my button just right. Okay, so I found to get the perfect loop, I need 1 1/4 inch plus 1 seed bead. So what I'm going to do is get my ruler. Okay, I'm going to take one of my needles, split my threads up. Okay, I'm putting this one here in my mat. I'm going to take this needle here, and I'm going to pick up 1 1/4 plus 1 seed bead. Okay, so I'm just picking these up till I think I get close to the size that I need. Okay, so I have 1 inch, so I maybe need like 5 or 6 more seed beads. Okay, let's see. I'm going to measure it. And I have 2 extra seed beads, so I'm going to take one off. Okay, put that to the side, measure one more time to make sure I'm right. Okay, 1 inch 1/4 plus 1 seed bead. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 1 extra seed bead off, slide this down. I'm going to take my other needle, pick up this extra seed bead, because what I'm doing is I'm making this spot right here, and I need that extra seed bead to be over there on my other needle. Okay, you can see that. So I'm going to put this one over here. I'm sliding all of my seed beads down. Let me get my roller out of the way. Sliding all of these down. Okay, put the needle on my mat. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see better. Now I'm going to take my other needle. I'm sliding that 1 seed bead down, just like this. I'm going to take my other needle, and I'm going to pass through all of these seed beads right here, except for the very last one. So except for that one right there, okay? I'm going to pull this needle through all these, fetch my other needle so it doesn't get tangled. So I'm pulling all of this down, okay, and I'm making my loop just like that. Lay this down. Need to make sure that my threads are tight, so I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to put these threads together, and I'm going to pull both of them tight. Now what I'm going to do is take one of my needles. I have this needle on this side, and I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads, okay, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to take this needle, and I'm going to pass through this Superduos right here, okay. I'm going to pull this through. So I have this. I'm going to sit this back down, tighten this up. I've got to find my other needle. Okay, I have my other needle. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads, extra jumped on, and I'm going to pass through this other Superduos right here. Okay, pull this through, slide it all the way down. As you can see, I have a lot of loose thread here, so I'm going to pull all my thread and tighten this up. Put my thread together, pull it tight. Make sure your whole bracelet is tight before you go on any further, okay? And it seems pretty tight, so now I'm just going to check and make sure that my button can pass through, and it can. It's the perfect fit, the fit that I want. Okay, now that I have this completed, we're going to move on. We're going to add more Superduos, and this time we're going to start adding our crystals. And I'm going to add the champagne, the color of crystal that we have the least of. So remember I said if you want to do 3 colors for a 7.5-inch bracelet, you'll need 18 of them. For an 8-inch bracelet, you'll need about 22 of them. So I'm going to be adding these next. I'm going to work with 1 needle at a time. So I took my other needle and I stuck it up here in my mat out of my way. Now I'm going to work with this needle right here, and I'm going to do the same thing on both sides, but I'm going to work with 1 needle at a time. So I'm exiting out right here out of this Superduo, and what I'm going to do is pick up another Superduo, same color here, because I'm trying to get my diamond shape. And I'm going to pass through this red one right here. Now I could pull this all the way through, but that's going to be very time consuming. So what I'm going to do is pull it through about 3 inches. Pick up another Superduo, and then I'm going to pass through the next one right here, okay? Now I'm going to pull all of my thread through. So I have 2 going on side by side, just like that. And this here, doing it this way, is just a little bit faster, okay? Now I'm going to pick up my crystals. I'm going to pick up 111.0, 1 crystal 4mm, and 111.0, just like this, and I'm going to pass through this Superduo right here. And again, instead of pulling it all the way through, I'm going to pick up my next Superduo, which is my red one, okay? And I'm going to pass through this one right here. Okay, let's pull it through so you can see that all the thread just pulled through that one and it's sitting in its place. Now I'm going to do it again. I'm going to pick up another one, the red, and I'm going to pass through here, the next Superduo. Okay, so now I have 2 Superduos and my crystal and the seed beads all here on this thread. Now I'm going to take my arm and I'm going to stretch it far out, and all my seed beads just went on. Like I said, doing this makes it a lot faster instead of doing 1 seed bead at a time and stretching your arm out across the room. So now I'm going to repeat these steps over. I'm going to pick up an 11.0 seed bead, a crystal, an 11.0 seed bead. I'm going to pass right here through this Superduo, pull it out about 3-4 inches. Then I'm going to pick up my next bead, which is the turquoise color. Then I'm going to go through the next one, pull it through so my bead sits like that and my tail's through. Then I'm going to pick up my next Superduo. And again, it's the same color that I just did. Okay, I'm going to pull that through. Now I'm going to pull my tail through all the way, and I have what looks like this. Okay, so what I do is I go about halfway through the bracelet, and then I stop on this thread and I go to my other thread and I do the same thing about halfway on the other side. So I'm just going to repeat the steps. 11.0 seed bead, a 4mm crystal, 11.0 seed bead, pass through this Superduo, pick up a new one, and pass through the next Superduo, pick up another Superduo, and pass through the next one. Okay, now I'm going to pull my thread all the way through, and I have this. I'm going to do it again. 11.0 seed bead, 4mm crystal, 11.0, through this Superduo, pull it through a few inches, pick up my next Superduo, turquoise, pass through this one here. Okay, I'm going to pick up another one, pass through right here, and pull all of my thread through. Okay, so now I'm almost halfway, but let's say I am, and I'm going to stop here and I'm going to go to the other side, and the other side I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to pick up a Superduo, pass through the next one, okay, pull it through a few inches, then I'm going to pick up my next bead, pass it through here, pull this through. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up my 11.0, my crystal, and my 11-0. And then I'm going to pass through my next bead, which is this Superduo right here. Okay, pull this through. Now I'm going to pull all of my tail through. And I have this. So this is pretty simple. You're just filling it in, and you want to get your color pattern right. Next bead is my red turquoise. Through this one, another red turquoise, or not turquoise, red Picasso. Through this one, pull that through. And then my 11-0 seed bead, my crystal, and my 11-0 seed bead. And I'm going to pass through this Superduo. Okay, I'm going to pull all my thread through. And this is what I have. So as you can see, this is really simple to do. You're just going to be repeating these steps over and over until you get to the other side of the bracelet. Oops, I got stuck on my needle. Alright? If you could do one, if you want, you could do one bead at a time, but I just found it much faster to do it this way. 11-0 seed bead, 4mm crystal, and an 11-0. Pass through here and pull through. Alrighty, so keep going, repeating these steps until you have all of this all the way over here to the other side of your bracelet. And once you have both sides completely filled in, I'll show you what to do next. And if you have any hard time, just rewind the video and repeat these steps. I kept on going, and I filled in both sides of my bracelet all the way over here. And now what I have to do is reinforce this button, because I only went through there one time. So what I'm going to do is pick this up, turn it around. I'm going to pull both of my working tails and make sure that they are tight. Okay. Then I'm going to take one of my needles. I'm going to do the same thing on both sides, but I'm going to do one side at a time. I'm going to take the one over here, and I'm going to pick up two 11-0 seed beads. Okay, I'm exiting out of this Superduo, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go through all 5 of these 11-0s through the button and also through this 11-0 seed bead here on the side. And you have to go through that like this, because if I went just through the button and came out, I could no way go through that, because the sides of the button are high, so it's impossible to get back through that seed bead if I come all the way out through the button. Okay, so just like this, through all 5 of those seed beads, through the cut button, through that seed bead on the top, pull the thread through, pull it tight. I'm going to take my needle, pass through the 11-0 in the center, pull that through, take the same needle, and I'm going to pass it down this side now. So through that seed bead, through the cut button, and through all 5 of these 11-0 seed beads. Okay, just like that. Pull this through all the way. So now I have my thread exiting out here, and I have my other one over there. So right now, what I have to do is pick up 2 11-0 seed beads, and I'm going to take both of my needles and cross through these 2. Okay. Once I pull it, you can see that now my sides match. So now I'm going to take my tail that was over here, it's coming out this way, and I'm going to reinforce the button, going through the button, coming back around, and I'll be exiting out over here. Okay. So right now I'm here, and I'm going to pass through these 5 11-0s through the button and out through the seed bead on the top. Okay, now I'm going to go through this seed bead in the middle, pull that through. Now I'm going to go down this seed bead, down through the button, and out through all 5 of these 11-0 seed beads. And I'm just going to turn it and try to go through these 2 also, so I don't have to do it again later. Okay, so I'm going through all of these, pull my needle through. Now we have this. Now I'm going to take both of my threads and pull them tight. Okay? Now what I have to do is pick up two 11-0 seed beads, and I'm going to pass through this Superduo right here, and I'm filling in this gap. Just like that. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing with my other needle. Take my other needle, pick up two 11-0 seed beads. Okay? I'm exiting right here. I'm going to pass through this Superduo and bring my thread all the way through. Okay? So now we should have what looks like this, and now we're ready to embellish the sides with some more crystals and Superduos. So I took my other thread and I put my needle up there on my mat out of my way, and I'm going to work with this side. I'm exiting right here out of this red Picasso Superduo, and I'm just going to pick up another one, same color, and I'm going to pass through this bead right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and pull my thread through. Okay. Now I have to pick up my second color of crystals, and remember I said for a 7.5-inch bracelet you want about 36 of these, and for an 8-inch bracelet you want about 44 of these 4mm bicone crystal. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up an 11-0 seed bead, one crystal, one 11-0, one crystal, one 11-0. Just like this. Slide this down, pass through this Superduo, then I'm going to pick up another Superduo right here, and I'm just going to pull this all the way through. Okay, so there's one section done. Now I'm going to do the same thing. 11-0, 4mm crystal, 11-0, crystal, 11-0. Just like that. I'm going to pass through this Superduo here, pick up the same color that I'm exiting out of, and go through the next one, and I'll just pull all of this through. Okay? Repeat. 11-0, crystal, 11-0, crystal, 11-0, just like that. Pass through the next Superduo, pick up Superduo of the same color that we're exiting, and pass through the next one and pull all your tail through. Okay, so again, repeat the steps. 11-0, crystal, 11-0, crystal, 11-0. Exiting out of here, I'm going to go in through the next Superduo, then I'm going to pick the same color up that I'm exiting, and I'm going to go through the next one. Okay. Then once I get about halfway through my bracelet, I'll stop and I'll do the other side just so I could keep the tension the same on both sides. So exiting out of here, I'm going to pick up my Superduo, pass through this one, and I'm going to pull this one all the way through again. Okay. Then I'm going to do 11-0, crystal, 11-0, crystal, 11-0, through this Superduo, pick up another one, pass through this one, and pull this all the way through. Okay? Repeat again. 11-0, crystal, 11-0, crystal, 11-0. Exiting out of here, I'm going to go through the next Superduo, pick up another one, same color that I'm exiting, and through this one. Okay, just like that. I'm going to do it one more time. 11-0 seed bead, 4mm crystal, 11-0, 4mm crystal, 11-0, pass through this Superduo, pick up another one, it's the same color that we're exiting, and pull that through. Okay, so that's pretty simple to do. You're just going to keep repeating these same steps here all the way to get to the other side of the bracelet, and then I'll show you what to do next. So keep repeating these same steps, and if you have any trouble, just rewind the video. So I kept on going, filling in the sides with my tourmaline crystals and the rest of my Superduos, and now I'm over here. So now the last thing that I have to do is add the very edge of my bracelet. So you see the purple ones that I have in the very edges here? That's what I'm going to do on my next one. I'm going to be putting this cyan color on the very edges. Okay, but before we do that, we have to reposition our needles. So right now I'm exiting out of these, and before I do anything else, I gotta tighten these. Okay, so let's tighten. Now I'm gonna take one of my needles. I'll do this one. I'm exiting out right here of the Superduo. I have to pick up 2 new Superduos. Okay. I'm going to pass through these 2 right here and all of the Superduos in this loop that I can. Okay. So pull this thread through. Just like that, exiting out here. I'm going to go in through all the other ones, as many as I can at one time. Passing through all of these. Just going to go around this side now. And right out here. Okay. Pull this needle all the way through. Sit this down. Now what I'm going to do is pick up 2 11-0 seed beads. Just like this, and I'm going to cross through them like I did earlier. Okay, bring this down. It fills in this side right here, and now both sides match. So the needle that's in the inside right here, I'm going to take and go back through all these beads and reinforce it again and get back to my other side. So I'm going to go through these 2 11-0s right here, and then straight up through all the 11-0s in my loop. Careful not to skip any seed beads. Okay, exiting out here. I'm going to go through all of these. Okay, pull this through. Now I'm going to go through this side. I'm going to try to shoot down through these 2. Okay, just like that. Pull this through, and then through these 2 right here. Okay, and pull your thread tight on both sides. Now what I have to do is pick up 2 11-0 seed beads, and I'm going to go down through this Superduo right here on the side. Okay. Now I'm going to take my other needle, and I'm going to do the same thing. 2 11-0 seed beads. And I'm going to go down through this Superduo over here. Pull this through. And this is what we have. So this side of the bracelet over here is finished. This is what it's supposed to look like. All seed beads on the edges. And this, we're going to do the same thing on the other side with the button. We're going to fill in the whole side over there so it looks really nice. Okay, so now after we do this, we have to add our last color of crystals, which for me is my cyan. So I'm going to reposition my camera. Okay, so I took my other thread, and again I stuck it up there out of my way, and I'm going to work here on the bottom. And I'm exiting out of this Superduo, and what I'm going to do is pick up 1 11-0 seed bead, 1 4mm crystal, and 1 11-0 seed bead. Now if you look, we have these little points where we have a seed bead here in the center between these crystals that are sticking out. I'm going to take my needle, and to make this easier to go through it, if you bend the bracelet like this seed bead pops out and you can just easily pass through it. Okay, so just like that, and we have this little section here done. I'm going to do it again. 1 seed bead, 1 4mm crystal, and 1 seed bead. Exiting out of here, I'm going to go in through this Superduo. Okay, so now I have this. I'm going to take my needle, 1 seed bead, 1 crystal, 1 seed bead. Exiting out right here, I'm just going to zoom in a tad bit more. Right here I'm exiting out of. I'm going to pinch the bracelet right here, bend it, and pinch it, and this seed bead pops out, and I'm going to pass through there. Pull my thread all the way through, and I have this. Again, an 11-0 seed bead, 4mm crystal, 11-0 seed bead. Xing out of here, I'm going to go through my Superduo. Okay. Again, 11-0 seed bead, 4mm crystal, 11-0 seed bead, and I'm going to pinch the bracelet here, bend it, so I can easier pass through this bead. Okay. Again, 11-0 seed bead, crystal, 11-0. Exiting out of here, I'm going to go through the next Superduo. Pull through, and this is what we have. Again, 11-0, 4mm crystal, 11-0, and through here. Okay, so I'm going to do this just like I did every other time I made sections through this. I'm going to go about halfway through the bracelet, stop, and then go to the other side, and I'll just go the full length of the bracelet on the other side, and then I'll come back to here and fill in the rest of this bracelet. And I do that for tension reasons, because I don't want to do one whole side and then go to the other side, because it could be really tight on one side and really loose on the other side. So to make the tension just right on both sides, I do it like this. Okay, so exiting out of here, I'm going to pick up an 11-0 seed bead, crystal, 11-0 seed bead. I'm going to bend this so I could pass through this 11-0 right here, and I'm pulling my thread through. Okay, 11-0, crystal, 11-0, and I'm going to pass through this Superduo right here. I'm going to stop, and I'm going to go up here real quick, and all we're going to do is the same thing up here. It's so simple. 11-0 seed bead, crystal, 11-0 seed bead. Bend this so you could pass through it easier, just like that. Okay, another 11-0, crystal, and a seed bead. Pass through the Superduo. Another 11-0, crystal, 11-0, and pass through this 11-0 seed bead between my two crystals here. Okay, 11-0, crystal, 11-0, and pass through this Superduo. Just gonna do it one more time. 11-0, crystal, 11-0, and right here between these two. So again, this is pretty easy to do. You just want to keep going, repeating these steps, filling in your bracelets on both sides, and when you get over here, I'll show you what to do next. So keep going, repeating these steps. So I kept on going, filling in the edges of my bracelets, and this is what it looks like. It's really beautiful. And now I'm over here, and I have 4 seed beads left, and I have to put 2 here and 2 here, and I'm going to go back through my button one more time, and then I'm going to sew down to the edges, and I'll tie my half-hitch knots. So I'm going to take my bracelet and flip it over, take one of my needles. I'm exiting out right here at this Superduo, so I'm going to pick up 2 11-0 seed beads. Then I'm going to pass through these 4 11-0 seed beads right here. Okay, pull that tight. Pull it very tight, because you want to, the rest of your bracelet to be tight too, and I actually meant to pull it tight before I did that, so I'm just going to go to this thread and pull that tight. Okay, so now I'm here, and I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to sew through all 5 of these 11-0 seed beads and back up through my button and through the 11-0 seed bead up here. Okay, so just like that. So again, we're passing back through all of these, through the one in the middle, pull that through. Then I'm going to go down this side seed bead, through the button, through all 5 of these 11 seed beads, pull that through these 4 11 seed beads right here. Okay, just like that. Taking my other needle, I'm going to pick up my last 2 seed beads here, cross through them, and bring this down and fill in that spot right there. So this needle here was the one that we were working with. I'm just going to take, and I'm Xing out this 11 seed bead here. I'm just going to take and continue on and pass through this Superduo and through this 11 seed bead, and then we'll start tying our half hitch knots on that side. But before I tie my knots, I have to get this one in position. So now this one is in position to tie knots, and this one over here isn't. So right now I'm exiting out of these 2 11 seed beads, and I need to take my needle and pass through these 11 right here, these 4. Okay, just like that. Pass through those, and then I'm gonna go up through these 5, through my button, and out the top of this seed bead. Pull that through. I'm gonna pass through this seed bead right here, the middle one. Pull my thread through, and then I'm gonna sew down this side 11 seed bead, down through my button, through all of these 11 seed beads, and then I have to sew through these seed beads right here. So through all of them, just like this, pull my thread through, and then I'm going to go down the side to the Superduo, the 11 seed bead, and out right here. So now I'm going to pull it tight, and we are in position to tie our half hitch knots. So I have just enough tail left over to reinforce the whole outer edge of this bracelet all the way to over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a half hitch knot right in front of every bicone, and then I'm going to pull the knot into the bicone. And like I usually say, I tie as many knots as I can because it just reinforces the bracelet, makes it so much stronger, and it gives it better shape. So I'm over here on the right side of my bracelet, and I'm exiting out of this seed bead, and I'm going to take my needle and pass through this hole. I'm going to make a loop, and I'm going to pass through the loop twice. Okay? Slowly pull the knot down where I want it to land, just like that. And if it looks like it's loose, like it kind of just looks loose there, it's because this thread here. If you pull this thread, it'll fix that issue. See how it just disappeared? Now I'm going to take this needle and I'm going to pass it through this bicone, and I also have to go through all of these here 11 seed beads, sewing through these. I'm going to sew through this 11 here, and I'm going to tie another knot here. Now if you want, you could tie a knot on this side so you don't have it slipping anymore, and I'm going to do that real quick. I took my needle off this side because I like to tie my knots one side at a time, and I don't want the needle stabbing me while I'm doing it. So I'm just going to tie a knot over here real quick. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to leave this side and go back over here with my needle. So I'm right here in front of this bicone, and I'm just going to tie another knot, again passing through that hole, making a loop, and going through the loop twice. Bringing the knot up right here, and I'm slowly going to pull it down into place, and then I'm going to pass through this crystal, through the 11 seed bead, through the Superduo, and through this 11 seed bead here. The knot pulls into this bicone, and then I'm going to tie another knot right here. So keep going, tying your knots all the way down the side of the bracelet, and what I do is I just take my thread, I'll pass it through these seed beads here, and I'll snip it. And then I'll go to this side, I'll put my needle back on this side, and I'll do the same exact thing, tying a knot before every bicone and pulling the knot into the bicone, and then passing through the beads and again tying a knot in front of a bicone and pulling that knot through the bicone. So keep going, repeating these steps, and your bracelet will be very strong and durable, and it will be absolutely gorgeous. So keep on going, tying your knots. This is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry I've made from my videos on my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching.